Daniel Cormier just dropped a much-needed update on Khamzat Chimaev ahead of UFC 319, and it's pure relief for fans. A few weeks ago, rumors started flying that Khamzat was injured and might be pulling out of his championship fight with Dricus du Plessis. Panic started to set in, but now DC says there's no need to worry. On a recent show, he revealed that he saw something that gave him full confidence that Chimaev is good to go. He said he saw Khamzat training in Los Angeles with Coach Sam, one of the best coaches in the game, especially when it comes to conditioning, cardio, and overall fight prep. DC emphasized that if Borz is working with that guy, it means one thing: he's locked in and ready to fight. No more guessing, no more fear of a pullout. It looks like Chimaev is back on track, and UFC 319 is still shaping up to be one of the biggest fights of the year. If Khamzat gets it done, the UFC is about to have two massive superstars leading the charge: Khamzat and Ilia Topuria. Both undefeated, both explosive, and both with that rare mix of highlight reel ability and global appeal. But we just cannot overlook the champion du Plessis, who's on an insane win streak and determined to shut Borz down.
Khamzat Chimaev is supposed to fight Dricus du Plessis. Not even a month ago, there were rumors that Khamzat Chimaev was injured, that he was not going to be in Chicago. Guess what? He's going to Chicago. I saw him training with Coach Calavita in the garage down in Los Angeles. And if you're training with that man, there is nothing wrong with you. Because the way that he pushes his athletes, the way that he works them to exhaustion, the way that he really does test you mentally, physically, that means you cannot be injured. And if Khamzat Chimaev was to have any issue with Dricus du Plessis, as we saw with Gilbert Burns and Kamaru Usman, it would be the longer fight and the cardio. If there's a guy that can get him ready, it is Coach Cal. It seems like he's doing all the right things. But hold on a minute. You do not look past DDP. Time and time again, people want to disrespect this young man. He is a dominant champion, and he intends to get the job done again at UFC 319 down in Chicago. I can't wait.
In a recent interview with trusted Spanish journalist Alvaro Comenero, Ilia Topuria addressed the rumors about a potential move to welterweight, and he didn't hold back. When asked about his sparring sessions with welterweights, including the viral photos of him training with Ian Garry, Ilia confirmed that he has in fact sparred with Garry and felt very comfortable doing so. According to Ilia, he never once felt like he was at a disadvantage. It was a subtle but clear message aimed straight at Islam Makhachev, as El Matador continues to push for his dream matchup at 170 and prove he's not just chasing greatness, he's ready to invade other divisions. He didn't stop with Garry either. Ilia added that he's sparred with many other welterweights, and he's never felt overwhelmed or outmatched. And it's not just Ilia saying it. Fighters like Kamaru Usman and Gilbert Burns have also acknowledged that Ilia has sparred with top-level welterweights and even landed big shots on them. With one more fight expected before the end of the year, the next step could come in the form of either Paddy Pimblett or Arman Tsarukyan. But make no mistake, Topuria's eyes are locked on Islam, and he's using every moment to show that he is not giving up on the Islam matchup.
We saw the pictures of you training and sparring with Ian Garry, who is a welterweight, and obviously there are a lot of talks of you moving up to 170 and becoming the first 3-division champ. How did that one go?
Okay, look, me and Ian Garry had a good technical sparring session. We didn't treat it as an actual fight, we just shared knowledge, but we didn't go easy on each other either. It was a good scrap, and not just Ian, I have trained with a lot of welterweights, and I feel very comfortable, you know? Very comfortable. At no time did I feel that I was at a disadvantage. UFC Abu Dhabi just took a major blow as the highly anticipated co-main event between Movsar Evloev and Aaron Pico has officially been cancelled. UFC President Dana White had confirmed that this would be a 5-round featherweight co-main event, an elite matchup between the undefeated Evloev and promotional newcomer Aaron Pico. But now, just weeks out from the event, Red Corner MMA reports that Movsar has pulled out due to injury or a health issue sustained during his camp in Thailand. No further details have been revealed, and it's unclear whether the UFC plans to keep Pico on the card or reschedule the bout altogether. This is a big hit for both the card and for Movsar himself. Volkanovski still doesn't have his next title defense lined up, and while rumors are pointing to a rematch with Yair Rodriguez, Volk has made it clear he wants to fight Evloev. He said multiple times that if it were up to him, the English would be next. But with the UFC not exactly being in love with Evloev's grinding grinding style, this pullout might push him even further out of the spotlight, and unfortunately, that's the last thing he needed right now. For a guy who's undefeated, has wins over top contenders, and was finally getting a title eliminator matchup in a 5-round co-main event, this injury could cost him more than just a fight. It might cost him his shot at the title. What do you think? Should the UFC still prioritize Movsar when he's back healthy, or does this open the door even wider for Yair to slide into a title shot no one really asked for? Some people in the MMA community haven't been all that impressed with Ilia Topuria's knockout win over Charles Oliveira at UFC 317. They've pointed out that Charles was coming off just one win and had recently lost to Arman Tsarukyan, questioning whether beating him really proves that Ilia belongs among the lightweight elite. Even Josh Thompson admitted he was one of those critics. He didn't initially think it was that big of a deal, but now both he and Big John McCarthy are starting to see things differently. They brought up the fact that no matter what his recent streak looked like, Charles Oliveira is still a monster. This is a guy who's finished elite names: Dustin Poirier, Justin Gaethje, Michael Chandler, the list goes on. You can't erase that legacy just because he took an L to Arman, a fight that was also close. For El Matador to come up from featherweight and put Charles out the way he did, that's a serious statement. It wasn't just a win, it was domination. And it showed that Ilia's power, timing, and composure translate even at lightweight. Big John and Josh now agree this was a massive win, not something to be overlooked. Whether people want to admit it or not, El Matador just knocked out the most prolific finisher in UFC history, and that means a lot.
They're saying, oh, he's only on a 1-fight win streak. Yeah, that was against Chandler, and his fight before that was Tsarukyan, but it wasn't like, and this is where, I'm going to put it in reverse. Tsarukyan sitting there talking about, I beat him. You squeaked out, and we're lucky.
In a 3-round fight.
Lucky that, he didn't attempt to go for that Darce at the end better than what he was doing. He was just kind of, laying there with it. He had you locked up, and you're flattening out to make it so it's not going to work. But he could have fought more to try to make it work. And if it started to put pressure on you, those judges would have flipped the other way, and you would have been on the end of that, split decision. So, he got it before that fight. He had a win against Beneil. Yeah, then the one before that was his losing his championship to Islam. But take a look at the people he beat before that. Dustin Poirier, not bad, right? And then you have Justin Gaethje, another one. He knocks out Justin Gaethje.
What are your thoughts on Ilia Topuria's future in the UFC? Will we ever see him compete at welterweight? Leave your comments below. That's it from MMA Psycho. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to leave a like and subscribe for daily MMA news.